O Pilipinas, yuta kong natawhan, ning kinabuhi ko, akong itugyan, ning kasing-kasing po, perme lang kasubo, tungod sa gobyerno, dili pa ato kinsa pagkahan.
Ining maong awit nagsugilon sa pakigbisog alang sa kagawasan sa atong mga Subuanong revolusyon. Ang sudlon maong ilang tinago nga kampo patok sa mga sumasakop nga katsila ug Amerikano. Naginaot ko nga ang atong mga batan karon maminaw nini para ilang mangguhan nga ang ilang problema dili lang ilaha, kundili shared na problem kini. Diin ang hinahanglan og shared nga kasubaran alang sa kayuhan sa katilingbanong Pilipino.
Ngadto sa sudlon, dili kita muoner, niya ng taong malupikon, na maoy nagbalikya sa atong nasyon.
Oh, Pilipinas, yuta kong natawhan, ning kinabuhi ko, akong itugyan, ning kasing-kasing ko, pirmi lang gasubo, tungod sa gobyerno nga dili pa ato. Tala na mga igsuon, mamauli na kita nga to sa sudlon. Dili kita muner sa mga taong malupigon, nga maoy nagbaligya sa atong nasyon.
Kinsa makahang dili mabalaka, kinsa makahang way amo sa patriya, kinsa makahang dili mabalaka nga wala hatagi sa independensya.
Ring kasing-kasing ko, pirmi lang gasubo, tungod sa gobyerno nga dili pa ato. Tala na mga igsuon, mamauli na kita nga to sa sudlon. Dili kita muner sa mga taong malupigon, nga maoy nagbaligya, nga maoy nagbaligya. Tala na mga igsuon, mamauli na kita nga to sa sudlon. Dili kita muner sa mga taong nagbaligya sa atong nasyon.
Pilipinas, oh Pilipinas.
Kabahining bisda kung paghigugma para buyag, kasing-kasing kiat para buyag, aptik pa ni Leon kilat pagpanggaho gay paspuso sa larsyan muhumok, igbahog sabaw sa linarang humukog ilong, tanalaag tas kulon at tuon, tadapit nga makasaysayon lapik sa dila o brutya sa pulong dugan mo siguradong makumong-kumong hugot pasuot, hugot pasuot hugot pasuot.
Bahalag saging, basta labing, bahalag buwan, basta tupad, bahalag toyo, basta radio, bahalag inamos, basta langgakol, bahalag hilaw, basta ikaw, bahalag korne, basta perme, bahalag lanay, basta tanday, bahalag dukot, basta lang hugot, hugot pasuot, hugot pasuot, kasing-kasing kapuno sa kahimuon. Huot pas hugot, huot pas hugot, ikaw akong forever, wala'y magbuot. Hugot pas huot, hugot pas huot, bisag ipagpag man sa tumang kalimot. Huot pas hugot, hugot pas hugot, sa dalan kulon kita mag-abot. Bahalag piit basta sikit, bahalag magumos basta lang timos, bahalag muluong basta muhaom, bahalag di magkaya basta kita.
Hindi ka biyaan, tuura jud na ako, murag General Maxilom ni kon mo plano, para ni mo makipatay ko pareho, sa Cebuanong Katipunerong si Alejo, maglisod ko kaon, kung di tadungan, ang imong istorya murag musika sa dunggan, bisag kinsa nga babae, di ti ka ilisan kaya nga akong gugma, solid pa sa Katipunan.
Hugot pasuot, hugot pasuot, kasing-kasing kapuno sa kahimuon. Huot pas hugot, huot pas hugot, ikaw akong forever, wala'y magbuot na. Hugot pas hugot, hugot pas hugot, bisag ipagpagman sa tumang kalimot. Huot pas hugot.
A happy celebration of the 160th birthday of our hero, Andres Bonifacio. We request everyone to stand for our prayer and the Philippine National Anthem to be led by the Jonquera Street Children's Choir. Pag-ampo alang sa nabag-ong Sugbo. O magbubuhat, nag-ampo kami kanimo. Alang sa usa ka sugbong hingpit nga nabag-o. Ang sugbo nga sa mga bayani gidamgo. Usa ka sugbo nga atong ikapisigarbo. Kami nagaampo alang sa bagong sugbo. Sugboanong maalamon sa among mga kaagi. Naiusang nagpanday pagkabot sa damgo. Sa sugbong maisog, mouswagon o gawasnon. Among mga pangandoy para sa matagbata, may pagkaon sa lamesa ug balay makatulgan. May bisting makahupay sa gabi nga matugnaw, giatiman, gipangga sa tibuok katilingban. Kami nag-ampo alang sa bagong Sugbo, sugbuanong dakugarbo sa among mga kaagi. Naiusang nagpanday pagkabot sa damgo, sa sugbong maisog, mauswagon ug gawasnon.
We Cebuanos aspire to be worthy in following the path taken by our heroes in their fearless fight for a land whose sun and stars forever shine for justice, whose loving embrace is everyone's paradise. We strive to become a people who love our motherland in our every breath and with every drop of our blood, sweat, and tears.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, nguyang ka ng magiting, sa manlulupi, di ka pasisikin, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong baba. May ilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang islap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin na taraw niya kailan kamay di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng lalakit pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa timog. Aming ligaya na pa'y mang-aapit, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Daghang salamat to the 𝗓𝗃𝗃 Street Children's Choir for that rendition of the Philippine National Anthem. And we would like you to know that right now, the 𝗓𝗃𝗃 Street Children's Choir is conducting the rehearsals for another song presentation that they would be presenting to us in Pasko sa Kagawasan as we celebrate the 125th year of the victory of the Cebu Revolution against Spain. So today we are so happy to celebrate the birthday of our hero Andres Bonifacio. So wala gyud ni siya gi-advance iyang birthday celebration. So we celebrate his birthday today during his actual birthday, his 160th birthday. With this event, ang Kagubot, the Katipunan connection to Cebu. So we have this event celebrating the birthday of our hero, the Supremo of the Katipunan, kagalang-galangang, kataas-taasang Katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan with conversations about ang Kagubot. So ang Kagubot is the Bisaya term for unrest or Kagubot. So for the how do you, in Tagalog, it is, listen kayo mag-Tagalog, Kagubot. So actually, Kagubot is the term that was used during the American time to describe the revolution in Cebu in 1898. So when the revolutionaries in the 1900s, during the American period, wrote about the revolution in Cebu against the Spaniards, they termed it Kagubot, ang Kagubot, and those who joined the revolution were called Manggugubot, or those who caused the unrest. Or so Manggugubot are the ones who caused the troublemakers. It could also be Kagubot is trouble or unrest if it is more political. And the ones who make the Manggugubot are the troublemakers. So the ones the revolutionaries were called Manggugubot during the American period. So we celebrate the 160th birthday of hero Andres Bonifacio. So we would discuss this afternoon the connection of Andres Bonifacio and Katipunan to Cebu. We would find out this afternoon if, because one of our audience right now, another history major, has an argument online whether Andres Bonifacio studied in Cebu, we would know the details about that this afternoon. So aside from Andres Bonifacio's connection to Cebu, we would know about the Katipunan's connection to Cebu this afternoon. And also, we are so excited to award our participants of the Cebu Island-wide hybrid extemporaneous speech contest. So we have students from 17 students from all over Cebu who joined our extemporaneous speech contest to honor our hero, General Arcadio Maxilom. And that happened last November 18, even if the birthday of General Maxilom was on November 13. So we celebrated his 161st birthday. We are celebrating the 161st birthday of the birthday of our hero, General Arcadio Maxilom, and we're so happy, we're so delighted. It was so heartwarming to hear our students, the youth of Cebu, speak about their love for Cebu, their love for the Philippines, and their love for our heroes, and also about their love for the modern day heroes of Cebu and our country. So we also celebrate this month also this week, next week, oh, this week, it's done already. Last week, we celebrated the National Book Week. So we celebrate it by reading books, and we have that in our photo, the a family reading books. So one of those is our resource person. The father in that photo is our resource person this afternoon. So we have si Leon Kilat ug Sigbin nga gisugilin sa Sugbuanong Bata, a short history of Cebu and the anti-Spanish Revolution in Cebu, and Leon Kilat, the untold story of the 1898 Cebu Revolution. So the theme is read, grow, and inspire. And we are also celebrating the National Children's Month. So it is the National Book Week and also the National Children's Month. So we hope that the children will be able to read these books about our history and about our society, and also the stories about our heroes. So the National Children's Month theme is healthy, nourished, and sheltered, ensuring the right to life for all. So everything that we do, we always say, everything that we do is dedicated to the children, the hope of our motherland. They are our future. They are the future. And of course, that's why we have also activities with children, because we hope that they will grow to become better citizens and better leaders of our country, of our society. So we celebrate today the Bonifacio Day. There was also a comment online. Why is it that we celebrate Bonifacio Day on his birthday? And why do we celebrate Rizal Day on his death? And the birthday of Jose Rizal is June 17. I don't know. I haven't read I haven't read properly the the debates online. Why? So maybe there is a reason for that. Maybe. So thank you very much to our audience on site, and also the the participants of the family and the teachers and participants of the hybrid speech extemporaneous hybrid speech contest. Thank you to our online audience. Thank you to daghang salamat to the Taguig City Paarlan ng lungsod ng Taguig at bayan ng Pateros. Ferdy Aparticio, the supervisor of the Araling Pandipunan of Taguig City and Pateros. And also thank you also to Rose from SDO Tapat from Napindan Integrated School, Iwan ng Buana, Angela Gutierrez also from Pateros National High School, Gabriel Estacio, and from Pateros National High School, Jen Roby, also from SDO Tapat, Clydine from Pateros National High School, Lenny Alaro, and Janet Diego from Aguho Sangay ng lungsod ng Taguig at bayan ng Pateros. And thank you very much for celebrating Andres Bonifacio Day with us, and also for having the interest of knowing the connection of Andres Bonifacio and the Katipunan to Cebu. And also Andre Ismael Rivera from Pateros National High School. Ferdy Aparticio says June 19. Yes, June 17 ako nasulti, no? Yes, the birthday of Jose Rizal is June 19. And also so thank you everyone. Daghang salamat for joining Angela Gutierrez and also 𝗖𝗲𝗀𝗂𝗯𝗂 Daghang salamat for joining us today. And Raul Buzon, also a graduate of history from the University of San Carlos. Daghang salamat for joining us and hope to see you on site in a while. So, daghang salamat also to our partners, the DepEd Region 7, for also they facilitated the invitation to our students and also teachers from the different divisions in the Cebu Island. So we have 6 divisions who joined our Cebu Island-wide speech, extemporaneous speech contest in honor of Cebu hero General Arcadio Maxilom. Daghang salamat to our other partners, Trust the Abril Foundation Incorporated, the Central Visayas Association of Museums, Diyandi Heritage Center, and so on 2020. We also would like to recognize those online participants who registered to our event today, the University of San Carlos Museum, someone from the Mindanao State University, General Santos, also from the Schools Division of 𝗓𝗏𝗄 𝗏 We have also someone from the History Lovers of Cebu, from the Boy Scouts of the Philippines. We have from the Cebu Technological University, from Colegio de Santa Ana, so this is in Luzon, and also from Leyte Normal University. Daghang salamat for joining us in celebrating the birthday of our hero, Andres Bonifacio. So aside from the conversations with our resource person, we would be giving the certificates of participation, awarding the certificates of participation to our participants of the Cebu Island-wide Extemporaneous Speech Contest with the theme Celebrating Cebu Hero General Arcadio Maxilom, the Last Man Standing. So we would also like you to know that we have upcoming events next day, this Saturday. We will be showing you our 𝗵𝗏𝗀 𝗂𝗏𝗂𝗀, that the 80-year-old 𝗵𝗏𝗀, or it depicts the Christmas story. So this is created by the catechist 𝗓𝗏𝗯𝗂 of Argao, and we would be discussing with the granddaughter of 𝗓𝗏𝗯𝗂, the University of San Carlos professor of sociology and anthropology, Dr. Zona Saniel Amper, about the role of women, the ancient role of women in religious practices. So you would be tracing the role of women in the church and also in pre-colonial times before Catholicism, before the Spaniards came. So it will be an exciting discussion this Saturday. Join us again this Saturday as we show you the 𝗵𝗏𝗀 𝗂𝗏𝗂𝗀, or the heritage 𝗵𝗏𝗀. It is displayed now at the Galleria Independencia of Pamgar sa Cebu Heritage Hotel. We would also be showing you our tree with the indigenous mats, or banig inspired. It is a tree made of banig. We don't have a photo yet. This Saturday na lang. So this will be one of our activities, and on December 16, we will be discussing about indigenous fabrics and mats with from De La Salle University, Dr. Carlito Amalia. He actually reached out to Palmgrass because he wants to discuss about indigenous fabrics with the audience of Palmgrass Cebu Heritage Hotel. And also we will have University of the Philippines Fine Arts Professor J. Nathan Hore in this event, and also from Badian Tourism, the Badian Tourism Officer, the Banig capital of Cebu. We will have Earl Vincent Indab. And on December 29, and this is the day, the 125th year of the victory of the Cebu Revolution against Spain. On this day, we will be discussing the victory of the different regions in the Visayas against Spain. Because we would know that in Luzon, the revolutionaries weren't able to win the final victory in the center, or the capital of Luzon, which is the in Metro Manila, they were not able to go inside Intramuros. But it's a different story in the Visayas. The Visayan revolutionaries were able to drive away the Spaniards in Cebu, in Panay, and also in Negros Island. So we would know the details about that. You will have National Historical Commission of the Philippines Commissioner and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. 𝗟𝘂𝘇 on that day. We will have Dr. Rosario Asong, former professor of the University of the Philippines, Visayas. And we will have, confirm na siya? So we are also inviting the National Museum of the Philippines, Cebu and Bohol, Director 𝗟𝗲𝗞 to join us in this discussion. And we are so excited to have the 𝗓𝗃𝗃 Street Children's Choir perform on this day the song celebrating Christmas of Freedom, the Christmas when the Cebuanos finally became free from 333 years of Spanish colonial rule and oppression. And the 𝗓𝗃𝗃 Street children will be singing about this on December 29, 2023. And we are so excited to hear them sing about how our heroes freed us from 300 years, more than 300 years of Spanish oppression and colonial rule. So join us in these events. And also, now we would like to introduce to you our resource person. So stay tuned for the announcement and the awarding of the certificates of recognition or participation to our participants. And also, we would also like you to know that the judges of our speech contest last November 18 were from the different media organizations in Cebu. We have the Freeman columnist, and also a UP professor, UP instructor in the communication program of UP Cebu, Attorney 𝗂𝗗𝗄 𝗞𝗂𝗯. We also have from Sunstar Cebu, columnist and marketing lead, 𝗪𝗲𝗪 𝗪𝗂𝗪. And also we have from the National Museum of the Philippines, Visayas director, we have Attorney Cecil Tirol, and also from also a professor from the University of San Carlos, Department of Anthropology, Sociology, and History, and also a consultant of different museums in Cebu. We have Dr. Joy Hera as judges of our extemporaneous speech contest. They had a hard time in their judging, but they were able to decide on the winners. So our resource person this afternoon to converse with us about the connection of the Katipunan and Andres Bonifacio to Cebu has been our resource person in two or three hybrid events here. So we had him as a resource person about the war against the Americans, and also about Maxilom's war, the wars led by General Maxilom. And also we have him today as our resource person. He is a graduate of philosophy and theology from the San Carlos Seminary College and Seminario Mayor de San Carlos. He is taking up his master's in history at the University of San Carlos, Department of Anthropology, Sociology, and History. And he is an instructor of the Talisay City College. He is a researcher of many books on related to Cebu history, and he also has been a resource person by media organizations. He was a guest of JME7 tracing the lechon of Karkar. Talisay, I mean, not Karkar, sorry. The Talisay lechon. Chicharon ang sa Karkar. Nasaan sila yung lechon, no? Oh, nakalimot ko Talisay di ay. So na-relate kina karkar adto. Well, tinagamay. So we are so happy, we are so delighted to have with us again this afternoon our resource person, our history researcher Marvin Bascon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Maayong hapon, Marvin. So, daghang salamat for joining us today. So, we have also our audience. So, we would like to invite you to give your comments or questions as we go along in our discussion, in our conversations this afternoon to celebrate our hero, Andres Bonifacio. So, we have Veronica Geografo saying, tumutunghay sa Pateros National High School, and also Kent Gabriel Peña from Pateros National High School. 𝗓𝗔𝗴 𝗞𝗴𝗂𝗯𝗂 watching from Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School, Senior High School, Book Lovers Club. So daghang salamat, Angie. You are one of the Cebuanos who are watching this our event this afternoon. So of course, Gabriel Buzon is also watching. So Faye B is from Mandaue City, Cebu. So daghang salamat, Faye B, for watching also. So now we know Andres Bonifacio. We see him in parks. We have seen monuments of him in the different areas of the country. But the question is, who is Andres Bonifacio? Do you know? Do we really know who is Andres Bonifacio? So we have our history researcher to share with us his research on Andres Bonifacio. You can also type at the comment section what you know about our hero, Andres Bonifacio.
Okay. When it comes to the study or the biography of the different heroes, we cannot deny the fact that we always look Jose Rizal as one of the, is one of the highest in terms of pedestals among the national heroes. Sometimes sometimes historians or even researcher would try to set aside Bonifacio because there were some narratives that would come up when it comes to the study of Bonifacio that would end like this question: who will be best suited to become a national hero? It could be Jose Rizal or it could be Bonifacio, or again another narratives or stories that would come out. Who was the first president? It could be Bonifacio, or it could be Aguinaldo. But again, it is very important for us to understand Bonifacio by going back to the very root of the existence of Bonifacio. First and foremost, when it comes to the historical narratives of Bonifacio, we read a lot of, I am not saying it is wrong information, but it would somehow resort to a narratives that Bonifacio was considered as one of the, in terms of the national hero, he was one of those who does not belong to the principalis class. So we always look, most of the portrayal of Bonifacio as the great plebeian, or Bonifacio came from the lower masses. But as far as history is concerned, Bonifacio belongs to the family really belongs to a media. It is a media classes. It is below the middle class. It is below the principales, but they have the means of education. So the father of Andres Bonifacio, Santiago Bonifacio, he was the work of Santiago Bonifacio was a boat rower. So, like, for example, if you want to go to Manila during that time, so you need to pass the Pasig River. So in order to pass the Pasig River, you need a boat, and one of those person who will paddle the boat was no other than the father of Andres Bonifacio, while the mother was a school teacher. According to my research and some biography, that the mother of Andres Bonifacio was a maestroquela. So during the time, being a teacher was not only a lucrative job, but it was considered as one of the most respectful and high-paying job. Like for example, if we're going to check some of the jobs that involve as important jobs in the GIA official de Filipinas, we found out that in the GIA official starting 1870, 1870, most of the jobs that were entitled to this privilege were the maestroquelo and maestroquela. So at the same time, Catalina also worked as supervisor of the tobacco factory. Yeah, again, while Santiago worked directly under the Governor Dicilio or town mayor, then his parents were able to send Andres to a decent school and even hired a private tutor for arithmetic and Spanish. So these particular narratives or assumptions about Bonifacio, it really destroyed the idea that Bonifacio was a poor person, or he came from a poor family, because during that time, having an education until the secondary education was considered as a privilege which only entitled to the higher member of the society. So, and when Andres Bonifacio, it was said that when Andres Bonifacio had his schooling in Tondo, so if we're going to check Tondo, Tondo was an important Indio municipality in Manila during the time, because the same with Cebu, Manila was also divided. There was a district for the Chinese in Binondo. There was a district also for the Spaniards in Intramuros, and there was also a district for the Indio, pure-blooded Indio in Tondo. So it was said that in Tondo, Bonifacio received his education, and in this particular experience with Bonifacio with education was also his first meeting in the person of a Cebuano. So we could say that this was the first time in which Andres Bonifacio meet Cebu in the person of no other than 𝗖𝗲𝗄 𝗞 of Cebu. It was said again, it needs to have a further study. It needs to have a further research. That it was said that 𝗖𝗲𝗄 𝗞𝗴𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗏 was the half brother of the mother of Don Serios Minya, Juana Osminia. But again, it needs to have a research on that. It was only a speculation. Then how did 𝗖𝗲𝗄 𝗞𝗴𝗂𝗂𝗏 became the teacher of Andres Bonifacio? 𝗖𝗲𝗄 𝗞𝗴𝗂𝗂𝗏 was one time a professor at the University of Santo Tomas. Then we have to understand that University of Santo Tomas was owned by the Dominican friars. And when 𝗖𝗲𝗄 𝗞𝗴𝗂𝗏 decided to open a school in Tondo, it needs the approval of not only with the Governor Dicilio, but it needs also the approval of the parish priest. Because during the time, the parish priest or the cura parroco had the monopoly or had the authority when it comes to the establishment of school. And 𝗖𝗲𝗄 𝗞𝗴𝗂𝗏 founded the Escuela de Niñas and Escuela de Niño in Tondo. And again, we have to understand that this school, it might sound private, but it was a public school. It was just run by 𝗖𝗲𝗄 𝗞𝗴𝗂𝗏 under the auspices of the Dominican. So we can connect 𝗖𝗲𝗄 𝗞𝗴𝗂𝗏 as a teacher in the University of Santo Tomas owned by the Dominican, and again he founded this school that was also run by the Dominican under his spouses. Then at the age of Andres Bonifacio was married at first. He was married first with Monica. It was said that Monica was his first wife. Then suddenly Monica died. He was died because of the leprosy. So you try to imagine during that time having a wife that succumbed to leprosy would somehow would put you in a situations, in a dire situations. Suddenly Monica died because of the complication of the leprosy. Then at the age of 30, Andres Bonifacio was again married to another woman. This time, in the name of no other than in the name of Gregoria de Jesus. And Gregoria de Jesus that time was 18 years old while Andres Bonifacio was 29. So it was said that they met with each other when Andres Bonifacio joined with the La Liga Filipina in Tondo, and Gregoria de Jesus was also joining the La Liga Filipina. So they had the family was able to had a number of children. So like for example, yeah, they have I know the Andres Bonifacio had a brother, Ciriaco, Procopio, Spiridiona. He had a brother, Procopio, Ciriaco, Spiridiona, and Tobadio. And it was said that Ciriaco also joined, the brothers and sisters also joined with Andres Bonifacio in the fight for the independence. So like for example, Ciriaco served as a soldier. And then while Procopio became the leader of the Katipunan, but two of his brothers, Ciriaco and Procopio, they were killed together with Andres Bonifacio. Then Esperidiona, the only sister, became the keeper of the materials and guns and bullet which will be used by the Katipunero. And Trovadio became the mediator or the liaison in which he would ask Filipinos, particularly those Filipinos, for patriotic Filipinos overseas, they would ask for support, they would ask for money, they would ask for support for the cause of the Katipunan.
So, will you be discussing now the occupation of Andres or later?
Yeah, it could be now.
Sige.
So when it comes to the occupation of Andres Bonifacio, Andres Bonifacio at first Andres Bonifacio was working in a color job situations. So unlike with the representation of most of our statues, Bonifacio was wearing a camisa de chino and he was wearing a pants with in which the pants gilokot, and then he was barefooted. So if we're going to analyze and understand that statue, we are committing a mistake that Bonifacio was somehow belongs to a very poor family. But in fact, Bonifacio came from it came from a not affluent family, but it came from a media family.
Middle class.
Yeah, middle class. So after he dropped out of school, Bonifacio relied on his dexterous hands in making canes and paper fans to sell. As far as I know, when I was in college in Christ the King, it was said in one of the speaker, I think it was one of the speaker, he said that making canes during the Spanish period, we have to understand that canes was a symbol of power. It was a symbol of, it was a person was walking a cane. It was not only a symbol of na okay siya or gamit niya pang bunal, but it was also a symbol of power. So the more cane is designed lucratively or intricately, it denotes the status of a particular person. So there is a big possibility that the canes that were made by Andres Bonifacio were done in a fashion in which most of the buyers came from the principalist class. Then this became a thriving family business, and his son made posters for the local businesses. Bonifacio was not only working with the locals, he was also working with the foreign companies. So like for example, at the age of 19, he worked as a broker for a local raw materials such as tar and rattan for the Fleming and Company, a British trading company. And then after that, he became a warehouse supervisor for the Frassel and Company, a German company.
So, dahil salamat, Marvin, for sharing this, your research about Andres Bonifacio. So now we know that Andres Bonifacio has so many talents. So he also was schooled. He was taught Spanish and English also in school. So he read books in Spanish. He read books in English and in French. And and also he was not barefooted, and he was from the middle class. But of course, we would know that he has the heart for the masses.
Yeah, for the masses.
He has the heart for the masses. Even if he comes from the middle class, he also experienced poverty or a sort of downgrading of their economic situation when his parents died. So that's why they became it's always depicted as the breadwinner of the family. So actually, a few days ago, I was asking our multimedia team, our graphics team, do you know what was the occupation, the job of Andres Bonifacio? And si Michael, one of our graphics artists, said, graphics artist. He was just joking. But I said, it's true. Andres Bonifacio was a graphics artist. He made posters for the printing press. So and it is also, aside from making canes, making posters and being a graphics artist was also one of the sources of their income.
Yeah, and also when you make canes or you make fan, you make sure that your cane or your fan will also be sellable. So it could be that this cane and fan were designed by Andres Bonifacio.
So there were also like references that said that aside from being, very good in making posters or graphics or making canes or being a broker,
Yeah.
he was also an actor. Like he also joined theater.
Yeah.
So he was also a theater actor. So we would know that our heroes, like for example, 𝗂𝗏𝗂𝗏𝗏, aside from 𝗂𝗏𝗂𝗏𝗏 was a champion horse racer, he was also he also participated in the circus. He was also a circus worker.
Yeah, circus
So
worker.
he could also act and he was also acrobatic and can do all the tricks. So now we would like you to know that Andres Bonifacio was also a writer. So he was a poet and he wrote. We would like to read to you excerpts of his very popular poem. This was made into there was a song version of this made in the 1970s or 80s by Inang Laya. And so we would like to read the first three stanzas of his poem in Tagalog, and the last stanza of the, how many stanzas? 16? 17? 17 stanzas of the poem. We would read to you, and I hope I can do justice in reading this in Tagalog. So the title of his poem, it's a very emotional poem, and it reflects his passion, his love for the country. So, Pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa ni Andres Bonifacio. Aling pag-ibig pa ang hihigit kaya sa pagkadalisay at pagkadakila, gaya ng pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa. Aling pag-ibig pa, wala nangawala. Ulit-ulitin mang basahin ng isip at isa-isahing talastasing pilit ang salita't buhay na limbag at titik ng isang katauhan, ito'y namamasid. Banal na pag-ibig pag ikaw ang nukal sa tapat na puso ng sino't alinman. Imbi taong gubat, maralitat mangmang, nagiging dakila at iginagalang. Ipahandog-handog ang buong pag-ibig at hanggang may dugoy, ubusing itigis. Kung sa pagtatanggol, buhay ay mapatid, ito'y kapalaran at tunay na langit. So a round of applause for the very beautiful poem by Andres Bonifacio that I was not able to read properly. And actually, we listened to the song version of that. They made that into a song in the 1980s, and we think that we need to translate it into Cebuano. Maybe we would produce a song translating it into Cebuano, and also to have a modern revival, a modern revival of that song, so that the young people can relate to it. Okay, the Visayans really want lively music, not the very melancholic music. So we would see that in that poem is embodied the passion and the love of Andres Bonifacio for the country, that if he has any blood left, he would offer it willingly for the country. And then also everything he has, like his wisdom, his heart, everything, buhay, dunong, his wisdom, everything, he would offer it for the one that he loves, and that is the country. Of course, he also loves 𝗟𝗂𝗇cie Jesus. He loved 𝗠𝗏𝗂, the first wife, but these love are secondary to the love of country. So what is the love that could be higher than the love of country? There is no love higher than the love for the people and the country. So that is what motivated Andres Bonifacio to fight until death for the country. Because if you don't have love, as said, I heard our speech contestants in November 18 talking about what should a hero have. It should be the heart for the people. So if you don't have the heart, you don't want to give your heart, and if you don't love, you wouldn't do anything to sacrifice or even to die for the people or for the country to have freedom. So this is Andres Bonifacio. As said by one of the contestants, Arcadio Maxilom is a lover of the country and a lover of women. So our heroes they loved women. Andres loved 𝗠𝗏𝗂 and Gregoria, but he loved most the country and the people who he wants to be free from oppression. So we would like you to know that here at Palmgrass, we have this book about Andres Bonifacio. So this is by public historian 𝗟𝗂𝗄. So this is Bayani Biographies, Andres Bonifacio, and this is available at Palmgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, Basahanan, in Lumaya, and this is already signed. This has the signature of 𝗟𝗂𝗄. So celebrate the birthday of Andres Bonifacio by reading the book about him. So do you have any question or comment from our audience? So actually, Ferdy Aparticio was saying that the father of Andres Bonifacio was in Taguig, and also flying the boat in Taguig. And then also, Raul Garcia Gabriel Buson said, wow, Andres Bonifacio's skills seem like a retailer in his time. So he is like you, Raul. You are in the BLP commercial right now. So Andres was also a seller in his time. So Christian Philip Corong is watching from Pateros, Tumutunghay, from Pateros National High School. So Ferdy says Andres is a member of Chatro por Binev. And Helen is watching from SDO Tapat, and Junivel Quezon is tagging his friends. and also we have James Lloyd Pakatang watching from SDO Tapat, and Janelle Pedrita. So the question now from Ferdy, before we go to our question to tell us about the Katipunan, how about Maxima, the sibling of Supremo Andres? Do you have any info about her? Salamat po.
Actually, I don't have any info concerning with Maxima.
Maxima.
Yeah, Maxima. What we have is the prevailing narratives on the two the two wives of Andres Bonifacio. We have 𝗠𝗏𝗂 and then Gregoria de Jesus. What was famous in the love story, in the love story or women involved in Andres Bonifacio was 𝗟𝗏𝗯 or Gregoria de Jesus because of the involvement of Gregoria de Jesus in the Katipunan.
Yes. So it was she was a member of the Katipunan, and she also continued fighting even
after the death of Andres Bonifacio. Although Gregoria de Jesus fell into a
remarried.
There was a story that he fell into a miserable situation because she was being raped by other members of the Kagubot in the revolution of 1898.
She was?
It was there was speculation narrative that she was being raped.
Oh. So but then she married another Katipunero.
Yeah.
Nakpil. Julio. Julio Nakpil. So and Julio Nakpil is also a musician. He
Yeah,
has
he's also a musician.
so we also have Las Piñas historian watching from Las Piñas. So Las Piñas historian, the question of Las Piñas historian during when 𝗓𝗪𝗂𝗂 was here. So we discussed Rizal loves Cebu and Cebu loves Rizal. And Las Piñas historian has this question that is still not answered even through how many events. And this is the question of Las Piñas historian. Paano ba magmahal ang isang Cebuana? Cebuano. Paano magmamahal ang isang Cebuano? Paano ba makukuha ang puso ng isang Cebuano? Oh, wala pa na ma-answer. Even karon, we don't know. Las Piñas, just stay tuned. Maybe we will be able to answer that question on Valentine's Day on February 2024. But we usually discuss the ancient sexual practices of the Visayas during Valentine's Day. So we have also this so Ferdy says mine 2 books signed by 𝗓𝗪𝗂𝗂, and also Eileen is watching from Talisay City in support of Anthony Cabernas of St. Scholastica's Academy. Na kay fans diri Anthony. So daghang salamat Eileen for watching. And also Hera is watching from SDO Tapat. So now we have this question regarding the Katipunan. So please tell us more. So we know this in school, but we want to know more about the kagalang-galangan, kataas-taasang kagalang-galangang Katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan. So please tell us about this.
Okay, so we have to understand that prior to the establishment of the Katipunan, Andres Bonifacio was also a member of a organization that was founded by Jose Rizal, that La Liga Filipina. Although the main purpose of the La Liga Filipina is more on the propagation of business, propagation, it's more on propagation of anything that is connected to the Filipino culture. When Jose Rizal was being arrested and banished to the Pitan, Bonifacio together with friends such as Judato Arellano began to found a secret society. It was said that this secret society would somehow related to the secret society, the Freemason, that was secret society that was hated by the that was hated by the Roman Catholic Church during the time. So on July 7, 1892, the KKK was founded in the house of Judato Arellano at 734 Calle Elcano, Corner Azcaraga. So membership was through blood compact, symbolizing the foundation of the secret society, which aimed the separation of the Philippines from Spain and the expulsion of the Spaniards in the country. So there, when you want to join the Katipunan, there was this initiation rite, and this initiation rite, the blood compact. You have to understand that the blood compact, that was a very ancient way of creating a treatise, because if we're going to check and to read our history, we will see that when the Spaniards came here in the Philippines, Magellan in 1521 and Miguel de Lopez de Legazpi in 1565 also involved in the blood compact. So in the Katipunan, Andres Bonifacio began to use this symbolism, these examples, as a way of creating a strong bond between his members. So it was like that blood is thicker than water. So it would denote that it denotes a clanic importance nga lahat tayo we are related by blood. As a Filipino during the Spanish period, as an Indio during the Spanish period, you can feel the relationship with other Filipino during that time because of your blood. Yeah, at the same time, there was racial discriminations as well as discrimination in the societal status. Then the first Supremo of the Katipunan was Diodato Arellano, followed by Roman Basa, and finally Andres Bonifacio. So the main purpose of the Katipunan was no other than the expulsion of the Spanish authorities in the Philippines. So in other words, as early as 1892, there was a notion of separation against Spain. And the only way of separation against Spain was through a revolution. But sad to say, there is no such thing as secret. Because what happened in the Katipunan was discovered. It was discovered by no other than the enemy of the Katipunan during that time, the Spanish friars. And it was said that one of the member of the Katipunan, this happened after Apolinario de la Cruz was given a 2 peso raise in salary, and Teodoro Patiño was not given any. So, nanglood. As heated arguments sparked between them, which led Patiños to confide the secrets of the Katipunan to his sister Honoria at the convent where she was staying. And it was said that when Patiño confessed about the secret society, and this secret society will erupt and will revolt, and all of the Spaniards, irrespective of their background, either they were priests or they were nuns or whatsoever, they will be brutally murdered, because the main purpose of the Katipunan was the expulsion of the Spanish powers or the Spanish potente in the Philippine Islands. So when the sister of Patiño heard this, she was trembled. You try to imagine that the sister was staying with the sisters were in the convent, so it could be that there was a strong connection, there was a strong bond between the sisters and the sisters of Patiño. And in return, the sister confessed this secret society to a nun, and in return, this nun persuaded Patiño to tell everything to Father Mariano Gil, who was an Augustinian priest assigned as the parish priest of Tondo. That is why in most of the signage of the Katipunan, you will see a picture of Father Mariano Gil with a picture with the Spanish curate of Tondo during that time, Father Mariano Gil. Then after hearing the revelations, Father Gil contacted the authorities and urged them to raid the printing shop. And after that, when they raid the printing shop, they were able to discover, number one, they were able to discover the names of the members of the secret society. Number two, evidence that they were members of the society because of the blood that were used as an ink, as a symbol of treaty, as a symbol of commitment of the Katipunan. And then some of the names, together with the names of the streets or the addresses where these members of the secret society were living. So when the Katipunan was discovered, everything really that was pre-planned by the Katipunans fell into shambles. So many of the members of the secret societies were arrested. Some of them were tortured in order to exert confessions, and many of them were also executed after some informations were being exerted from these members of the Katipunan. And because of that, Bonifacio had no choice but to launch a premature revolution against the Spanish authority. Then, when the revolution was ongoing, it was said that many of the members of the secret society began to ask for solicitations from the rich members of the society, particularly those rich members of the society, including the Rojas. Then it was said that when the Spanish authorities discovered the names of these rich members of the society, even though many of them were not really members, and many of them were not connected to the Katipunan, they were eventually arrested, and many were banished to the Marianas Island, including Jose Rizal. So it was said that Jose Rizal was implicated in the foundation of the Katipunan. And this is one of the reasons why Jose Rizal was sentenced to death, because his name Arguably, without his knowledge, Andres Bonifacio used his name as a password. And at the same time, Jose Rizal was made as a honorary president. So when Jose Rizal was accused, and he was in, when Jose Rizal was accused and was in the kangaroo court of the military tribunal, I mean, Jose Rizal cannot answer plainly when the evidence were being showed, when the evidence were being showed to him that this is not a coincidence, because the moment the revolution was erupted, asama ka, you were in Manila, so it was not a coincidence, but rather it was a pre-plan. It was rather not only a pre-plan, but you were a member of the Katipunan. And Jose Rizal, Jose Rizal really defended it. He was never a member of the Katipunan, and without his knowledge, his name was being used by Andres Bonifacio. So it's sad to say the same with the revolt in Cebu. We cannot deny the fact that there were also some incidents that it will always be a member of our own kin. It would always be a member of our kin that would report us, betrayed us, and thus the Katipunan was discovered. It was discovered, and Bonifacio has no choice but to prematurely revolt against the Spaniards.
Dahil salamat to our researcher, Marvin Vascon. So we have comments from our audience, and also we have these no questions yet, but so many are greeting you, your students. So we now have more than so many online right now, your students or your Chuck Bakakaw says, tapok sa mga academician. James Saniba watching from Talisay City College from your fan, Sir Vascon. And also, 𝗔𝗴 𝗞 is supporting our teacher. So, social studies to academician. Sheila May Castro sends 2 hearts. And Onard Abangan, woohoo, my idol, Sir Marbs. Rix Hermino says hello. Mariel Gallego is watching from Pardo, supporting teacher Marvin Vascon. And also, Patrick Mabala sends 3 hearts. Mayet is watching from the SDO Tapat. And Jeremy Ablen Pacres is watching from South Korea. Oh, and then there are reactions of laugh. Is that true? Are you watching from South Korea? And also, we have Jelly Ann Baco saying, go, sir. And Chuck says, Sir Vascon, Pogi. Fans Club, yun di. Pogi ko, no? So, sa baas, wa academician. so we have, our Furley is watching. Also, Kyle Sanchez. And so the question now is also again from Ferdy Aparticio, aside from Gregoria de Jesus, were there other women members in the Katipunan, especially in the Cebu, Visayas, and Mindanao?
When it comes to the, we have to understand that the Katipunan, we have to understand that the movement coming from Manila was able to materialize in Cebu. It was only materialized in Cebu in 1898. But there were also some narratives or documents that as early as 1894, the Katipunan via Florencio Gonzalez, it was already materialized. Yes. It was already been experienced.
So that's the question regarding the prime movers of the Katipunan in Cebu. Before that, we would like to, before our researcher and his history researcher would tell us more about the Katipunan and Cebu, we would like to show you this video made by our intern from UP Cebu during her internship here in before the pandemic. So, is it ready? Is it ready? So, this is her video on the Katipunan story. So that was made in the 126th anniversary of the founding of the Katipunan. So we would know that the Katipunan really advocated for freedom from Spain, and not even if Andres Bonifacio was a member of the La Liga Filipina, and Jose Rizal advocated for the Philippines becoming a province of Spain and a representation in the Spanish Cortes. So when Rizal was arrested, the La Liga Filipina broke in two factions. One faction continued with the reform goal, but the other faction formed led by Andres Bonifacio, formed the Katipunan. So we would also know, of course, that according to Marv's, there were initiations. Actually, when we had there is really a different interpretation by different historians, because historian Michael Colonnane would say, for him, it is his interpretation of Cebu history, that he would say that even without the Katipunan, the Cebuanos would revolt. Cebuanos would launch the revolution even without the Katipunan. But I told him, but Mike, Dr. Mike, there were initiations of the Katipunan. Most of those who joined the revolution were not Katipuneros. They don't know about the Katipunan because Emilio Aguinaldo killed the leader, the founder of the Katipunan. They were no longer Katipuneros. But then, Leon Quilat had initiations of the Katipunan in Cebu. Leon Quilat was a Katipunero, but the others were not. So anyway, now we would like you to know actually also that we have this book here at Pangras. When Dr. Risil Mujares was talking about the leaders of the revolution in the 1898 Revolution of Cebu, he also referred to this book by Jim Richardson, The Light of Liberty, and this contains the documents of the Katipunan and studies of the Katipunan from 1892 to 1897. So this is the book by Jim Richardson. Also referred to, Dr. Risil Morris was showing this book when he was discussing about the leaders of the revolution, the 1898 revolution in Cebu. During the anniversary of the Battle of Tres de Abril in 2019. So he mentioned this book as one of the references to know more about the revolution against Spain. So now we would like to ask our resource person. We're nearly done. So our contestants here are so excited already to know the winners. So we would like to ask regarding the prime movers of the revolution in Cebu and their connection to the Katipunan.
Okay, so there are a lot of questions concerning when was the exact date the Katipunan was, introduced in Cebu, or who were the original or the first member of the Katipunan. Again, we must go back to the events of the 1896 because we have to understand that the movement for revolution in Cebu was really materialized only in 1898, while the Katipunan was already in existence before 1898. So in my research, I found out that in some of the newspapers of the Bagong Kusog, and some also of the old documents that I was able to scan, particularly in the issue of Talisay, the Hacienda de Talisay Iming Glanilla, there were many Cebuanos. I would like to mention, like for example, Florencio Gonzalez and the prominent Talisayno, Hilario Potenciano. Like for example, in 1871, the Talisaynon Inquilinos really filed a case against Agustinian, but this case was overturned by the Primera Instancia of the courts here in Cebu. And because of that, the Governor Ducilio of Talisay during that time, Don Hilario Bacos, decided to send Potenciano Alinio, and at the same time, they were looking for a a lawyer, a scribano, who was something that cannot be by money or anything that has a strong feelings towards the friars. And that person was no other than Florencio Gonzalez. So in 1891, they actually went to Manila to ask for, they went to Manila in the Sala of Audiencia to file a case against the Spanish Agustinians in Cebu, particularly in the Hacienda de Talisay 𝗵𝗲𝗄𝗂𝗪 fiasco. And again, it was overturned. They went back to Cebu. Then in 1893, that was in 1893, again, they went back to Manila to file. It was actually the last filing of petitions against Agustinian. But in that particular interview with Judge Canton, with Potenciano Alinio and Stanislaw Laroa, it was mentioned that in 1896, Potenciano Alinio went back in Cebu. And when Potenciano went back in Cebu, the people in Talisay, particularly the inquilinos and member of the political elite, they were shocked. Why they were shocked? Because when Potenciano Alinio went back, he went directly to his Uma, and it seems that he doesn't like to be bothered. And in fact, according to some narrative, he was actually hiding. Why he was hiding? It has something to do with the event in 1896. In 1896, a number of Visayan sailors in Tondo were massacred by the Spanish authorities because they were implicated in the foundation of Katipunan. And many of these Visayan mariners and Cebuanos were able to, some of them were massacred and some of them went back to Cebu. And it was in Cebu that some of the members of the Katipunan began recruiting some of the members in Cebu. And most of those members that were recruited by the Katipunans were members of the working class. Like for example, they were workers at the Smith Bell steamships, particularly the Bohol. They were able to recruited some of the prominent Cebuanos, like for example, Gavino Gabucayan, members of the employee of the Smith Bell. Then we have Mariano Hernandez, operator of the Abaca Press, and they were also recruited by Oclarino. And from these recruits, they were able to recruit again another members of the working class, particularly those who were working at the port of Cebu. From this, they were able to expand in San Nicolas, and from San Nicolas, they were able to expand to Talisay, and also some of the members of the inquilinos in Talisay, particularly those who really hated the old dog, the friars in Talisay, also joined with the Katipunan. So these prime movers of revolution in Cebu, they were very important. At the same time, they were pivotal because from this perspective, they became not only the recruiter, but they were able to spread the news. They were able to spread the ideas that revolution was already happening in Luzon, and I think it's time to spread also in Cebu.
Yeah, so we would know that Smith Bell would sail from Cebu to Tondo
Yeah.
every week. So they had connections with the Katipunan in Tondo. So that because they would be and most of the crew in the Smith Bell were already recruited to the Katipunan. They were already revolutionary.
Yeah. According to Michael Collinen in the Arenas of Conspiracy, many of the workers in Tondo, Cebuanos and Visayan, were massacred by the Spaniards because they were thought as part of the Katipunan. And they were also afraid that if these Cebuanos or Visayan workers would go back to Cebu, they would spread the news that in Manila, revolution was already started.
Yeah, so actually those in the port area were also recruited, and those working in the warehouse of Smith Bell, aside from the crew.
Yeah.
And we would know that Smith Bell warehouse is very near Fort San Pedro.
Yeah.
And under the Katipuneros, the revolutionaries, those members of the Katipunan in Cebu, or those who opposed the Spanish colonial rule, would meet in the warehouse, which
Yeah.
is just, if you would see this depiction of the map of where Smith Bell warehouse is, it's very near. It's a stone's throw away from the Fort San Pedro. Imagine how brave our Cebuano ancestors were. They would be meeting right at the mouth, at the right in front, right nearly a few blocks away from Fort San Pedro.
I think it has something to do also with the idea that the Smith Bell was also owned by the British. So it could be that it could be that since this particular property was owned by the British, it seems that the Spanish authority has no sovereign in that particular establishment.
Yes. And so this inquilinos in Talisay, like Florencio Gonzalez, it's very interesting because Florencio Gonzalez was a lawyer of the peasants, or the farmers in Talisay, and also Mariano Hernandez. Actually, when I researched about the ancestor of Palmgrass, 𝗔𝗴𝗞𝗴𝗂𝗂𝗓, he was also a lawyer. He was educated in Manila and in Madrid. And we would know that Michael Colonnane described them, Florencio Gonzalez and Mariano Hernandez and 𝗔𝗴𝗞𝗴𝗂𝗓 were early conspirators of the revolution.
Yeah.
So and then he also said that when actually it's 𝗔𝗵𝗴 and these books mention that Isidro he was like an ilustrado because he was a lawyer. He was educated in Madrid and he had properties. He was Spanish mestizo.
Yeah.
When he was also recruited to the revolution or to the Katipunan, there were so many who also joined because of this. They were, aside from, of course, the Spanish mestizos were second-class citizens at that time because the first-class citizens were the Peninsulares.
Yeah.
Those, the
Pure-blooded
Spanish,
Spaniards from the Spanish
born in Spain. The Insulares were the second class. The Spaniards, pure Spanish, born in the colony.
In the colony.
Yes, and then the third class citizens like Leon Quilat,
Yeah.
who was a mestizo,
Mestizo.
𝗔𝗴𝗞𝗴𝗂𝗓, and some other leaders of the Cebu Revolution, or even in the Philippine Revolution in 1896. They were also mestizo who already went against or protested against Spain. But the Indios were the bulk of
Yes.
the revolutionaries. We would know the Talisay revolutionaries go back so many years ago, even because Talisay is part of the Pueblo
Pueblo de
de
Naturales
de
of San
Naturales,
Nicolas.
the Pueblo de los Indios. So Talisay was part of San Nicolas.
Yes.
And we would know also, like in one of the books, we have that in our Basahanan, a history of Christianity, like it mentioned about how the Talisaynons, the dato of Talisay in
1588.
1588,
Yeah.
1585, or 1589. So they actually beheaded the friars, or the Spaniards who tried to make land into private property. Because before the Spaniards came, land was not privately owned.
Yes.
And then the Spaniards instigated asking the Principalia, the dato class, to treat the land as their private property and to sell the land. The dato class of Talisay were so angry they beheaded the Spaniards, but of course they were quelled. The revolt was quelled. We don't know much about that part of our history in Cebu, but the Talisaynos are the Spaniards also arrested and also executed them, the dato, and they also confiscated all their belongings.
Yeah, correct. The issue really if we're going to check and understand that the issue of agrarian conflict in Cebu, the most problematic was really in Talisay. As early as 1588 until 1890, as early as 1588, and even after the coming of the Americans, the issue of land ownership in Talisay was one of the most problematic. And in fact, as what I have said, before Florencio Gonzales was been appointed as the lawyer for the Talisay and Quilinos, there were actually two lawyers presented by them. If I was mistaken, it was Receptore and Cabrera. But the two of them, eventually, according to the narratives, they were most of the cases they were filed, they were actually overturned. And the Talisayan and Quilinos began to question why always every time they will file a case, while all their case were being overturned or they were being dismissed, then that was the time when Potenciano Alinio was working at the sala of Judge Singson, heard the story of Florencio Gonzales, that he was known as hated of the friars. That is the time when the Governor Rosilio and the Inquilino began to seek the help of Florencio Gonzales, and it was really Florencio Gonzales who became the bridge for Potenciano Alinio, because it was always Florencio Gonzales and Potenciano Alinio who will always went to Manila to present the case. And it was in that event in 1896 that the Talisayano really shocked when Potenciano Alinio went back, and he was really hiding, because accordingly, all of the Cebuanos that went home in that year, they were considered a suspect. They were considered as suspect, or they were considered as member of the Katipunan.
Yes. So we would know if you have seen the song in the countdown of this event, you would see the descendant of General Potenciano Alinio sharing with us this 100-year-old song taught to them by General Potenciano Alinio. O Pilipinas was a song by the Cebuano Katipuneros, or the revolutionaries in Cebu in 1898. So Attorney Rex Alinio Fernandez asked FAMGRAS to produce that song so that it would not just vanish, or so that we will have the legacy of his grandfather, General Potenciano Alinio, would still remain. And sadly, also, Attorney Rex Alinio Fernandez also died or perished. He was killed in year 2021 during the pandemic, when there were so many struggles of also, he was a human rights lawyer, and he also he also worked for the people, and he also died. We don't know yet until now why or who killed him. So we have a comment. So we have two more questions for researcher Marbs, although nagsige tagdugang og question. So we have this Ellen, the tour guide from Flag. Our Suki tour guide is saying maayong hapon and watching while on a bus tour. So while they are having their tour, they are also watching this event. The tour guide Ellen, and Faye B says OMG. Which part is OMG, Phoebe? and also emojis of swords or knives. And also Albutra says, Sir Idol, Marbs. Andrian J. Bacalso Teve says, he is tagging his friend. And also there is a question which may be answered later, and maybe our audience can also answer this. From Las Piñas historian, always asking about love. The question is, paano po natin ituturo ang pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa? How do you teach love? Can you teach love? Can you teach love? You don't know how? Can you? What's that? Can you teach? How can you teach love of the motherland? So can you teach love? How do you grow to love a country or someone? Later na lang ha, when you have your microphone. So there are already answers here. So Las Piñas, thank you for your very wonderful question, an intriguing question, and controversial question. So we also have watching right now is a descendant of General Arcadio Maxilom from already based in Davao, Marivic T. Traya Alaban, and also watching our heritage advocate who made my replica of the pre-colonial Patanaw earrings and who also made this uh, his version of the anting-anting of the of the Katipunero. So this is from Ferdinand Ascaraga, and he says Ferdinand says it's very amazing that Katipunan was founded in Ascaraga Street. Named his last name is Ascaraga, and the Katipunan was founded in Ascaraga Street. So he made this. So he is now portraying Katipunero, and he is a reenactor of Katipuneros and other heroes of the Philippines. So, hello, Ferdinand Ascaraga. According to Fabi, go Talisay, says Fabi. So, now we have this question. So, katong paano ba ituturo ang pag-ibig sa tinupong lupa? Raul would like to answer that question later. Stay tuned for the answer from the USC Department of History. So we have Raul and maybe Leandro will also answer that in any language that you want. And then so we would also like you to know that we have here at our basahanan these very important books. We have the Arenas of Conspiracy and Rebellion. So we would know here the leaders of the 1898 revolution in Cebu City, San Nicolas, in Mandaue, and in Lapu-Lapu, and other in the Cebu, and other towns in Cebu. So Dr. Michael Colonnane only mentioned about 300 because he based it on those of who were mentioned at least thrice in documents. Yeah. So we in our wall of heroes there at our Galeria Independencia, there are more than 300 names because we included those mentioned by in the book by 𝗵𝗏 𝗪𝗪 here in the book Leon Kilat, the untold story of the 1898 revolution against Spain. And of course, another very important book on Cebu history is the first book that Leandro bought, according to him, a very historic, very important book, a short history of Cebu from 1500 to the 1890s and the anti-Spanish revolution in Cebu. And when I was researching about this book in the Cebuano Study Center, I saw that Mike Colonnane actually read this book in the library card. Right now, napay library card. So there are some napagyapon niya ngalan. So now we have this question. So we discuss about the prime movers of the revolution in Cebu. So we would now like to know what was Cebu. We would like to ask our resource person to describe Cebu during the 1896 Philippine Revolution.
Okay, so when it comes to the general description of Cebu, if we're going to compare Manila and Cebu, Manila was actually broiling with, it was really broiling with fear, broiling with any possibility. Like, for example, anytime the Katipuneros would attack the most important part of Manila, the Intramuros. But Cebu during the time was relatively peace. Although there were some speculation, there were some speculations, and so there were some stories of what happened in Manila during the time. But Cebu in general, they were peaceful. And some of the story also that was able to gathered by some of the prominent Cebuanos also began to form a militia. They began to nag-amot-amot sila. They began to solicit money for the Spanish authorities in Cebu to build a voluntarios to be sent to Manila in order to quell the revolution. But sad to say, when the voluntario was being sent to Manila, it was the revolution there, although the revolution is continuing, the revolution of 1896 was already going down. But although Cebu was relatively peace, there were also some experience of discontent, particularly again in Talisay, Minglanilla, Tuburan, and other parts of Cebu, where agrarian conflict was common. So I'm going to discuss these important narratives, particularly with the agrarian conflict. So in Cebu, the friars were known to have owned a vast numbers of haciendas, like for example, the Hacienda de Talisay and Minglanilla. You try to imagine the entire lands in Talisay and Minglanilla was owned by the Agustinian. We have also the lands in Banilad and Talamban were also owned by the Agustinians, and also in Mandawi. Mandawi was owned by I think it was owned by the Jesuit before it was passed to the diocesan. But it seems that most of the lands that were owned by the Agustinians, it always generate conflict. It always generate troubles. For example, in Talisay, in the part of Talisay, in 1892, you try to imagine 1892 was the foundation of the Katipunan, but in 1892, the Talisaynon were already amassing their weapons. They were planning to revolt against the Old Dog. By the way, the term Old Dog, it was a referral to the Agustinian, the friars in Old Dog. By the way, the place in Talisay, it was now called Old Dog, but originally there was a convent of the Agustinian in that particular place in Old Dog. Muna gitawin sa Old Dog karon. So, ang nahitabo was that in 1892, there was a raise of rent for the inquilinos without the knowledge of the renters. And it's also sad to say that in 1892, there was also a bad weather. At the same time, the harvests were not good. So most of the inquilinos, the farmers, were not able to pay the fixed rent that was, the fixed rent that was stipulated by the Agustinian. And because of that, they began to ask questions. They began to display discontent against the Agustinian friars. But sad to say, in 1892, out of the discontent of the inquilinos, the Agustinians ordered the Guardia Civil, without the knowledge also of the Gobernador Rosilio during that time, the confiscation of some of the lands that were rented by the inquilinos. And these lands that were confiscated by the Guardia Civil became the pivotal crying point of the Talisaynons in Talisay, because they really feel that they were discriminated, they were abused by the friars. And in 1894, with the help of Solomon Manalili and Hilario Buhay. By the way, during that time, Solomon Manalili was the escribiente of Cebu, of Cebu City. Secretly, they began to send weapons to the Talisaynons, under the leadership of Stanislao Larua. And these weapons were said to be used in 1894 because they were actually planning in 1894 that they were going to revolt against the Spanish authorities, particularly the Old Dog. And at the same time, in some places also of Cebu, particularly in San Nicolas, there were also trouble and conflict also happened there because of the quarrel between the parish priest, Jorge Romanillas, and the Gobernador Rosilio of the Kapitan de Municipal on that time. And also in Tuburan also, people began to quell the Spanish authorities in their land because of some of the abuses and atrocities committed by the Spanish authorities in general sense.
So, daghang salamat to our researcher, Marvin. So, your students are still greeting you online. So, we would also know actually, so the Talisaynons were the ones who really also protested, launched, they were so angry against the friars regarding the land issue. But in the rest of Cebu, there were also questions and discontent regarding the ayuntamiento.
Yeah. I think in San Nicolas there was a plan to destroy there was a plan to destroy the kuan the municipio by the Spanish authorities, and it became the boiling point of discontent in San Nicolas.
Yes, so the ayuntamiento was a later, it was
Casa Tribunal, yeah, that's
yes,
the proper term,
it
Casa
was
Tribunal.
introduced by the Spaniards in the later part, at the last decade of their rule, and it became also the trigger for the natives, like for example in Cebu, to launch the revolution, to really be discontented, because before the tribunal or the ayuntamiento, which is like a Casa Tribunal, which was ruled primarily by Spaniards. Before that, the natives were the ones who ruled the towns with and that the teniente municipal or the
Kapitan di Municipal.
kapitan di
Municipal.
municipal. Before the ayuntamiento, the natives were the ones in, and then they would say that we are more efficient. We know more the work than those Spaniards.
Yes.
So who are now ruling in the Casa Tribunal or the ayuntamiento. So I think that's the reason. That's the reason why Dr. Michael Colonnane would say, even without the Katipunan coming here, the Cebuanos would have launched the revolt against the Spaniards, would have rose up against the Spaniards. Because, for example, San Nicolas was, from San Nicolas until there was a time that San Nicolas was the most populous, because it was the Pueblo de Europeo, which was the Cebu city. It was the Spanish city, but it has no people.
Yeah.
There were no Spaniards. So the more lively economically and with more population,
It was San Nicolas.
the Pueblo de
Naturales.
Naturales, which it was San Nicolas.
Yeah, because for example, when we speak about San Nicolas was also the center for the Naturalis, for these Indios. It was the center for political purposes, because the town of San Nicolas, the extent of the town of San Nicolas, the geographical boundary of San Nicolas also extend towards Minglanilla, Talisay, Minglanilla, Naga, going to San Fernando, something like that. And at the same time, the extent also of the religious boundary or the ecclesiastical boundary of San Nicolas also extend from San Nicolas going to the south. So like for example, Talisay was part of the town of San Nicolas until 1834. Then in 2 years after, in 1836, Talisay became a separate parish from San Nicolas.
So, and the San Nicolas nuns, led by C. Padilla, Candido Padilla, were so angry that it is going to be annexed. It would be now part of Cebu City. When it was decided by the ayuntamiento that San Nicolas would become part of Cebu City, they were so angry, and now that's why they would say that the hotbed of the revolution is in San Nicolas.
Yeah, correct.
So now the last question, and so our audience are now so excited. I think you would have the trivia quiz first before we would award the certificates of participation to our contestants. So the last question for our resource person, what were the reasons that the Cebuanos launched? No one to discuss. Maybe there are more reasons that we have not yet mentioned. What were the reasons that the Cebuanos launched the revolution in 1898?
I think the most pivotal, if I could quote, there were two possible reasons why Cebuano really revolted against the Spanish authorities. Number one, it has something to do with, which is very strong, agrarian conflict. Yeah, like this one, for example, in this particular newspaper from Bagong Kusog in 1928, this was an interview by the original Manggugubot, who was alive during the time, by the name of Stanislao Laroa. It really anticipates the revolution of 1896, because 1894 was the exact date in which the Inquilinos really wanted to revolt against the Spanish authorities. But the Kapitan Municipal during that time, Crispino Cabalan, had said to Stanislao Larua, hununga sa, because according to him, there will be more battle, there will be more revolt that will happen in Cebu. I think that possible idea was received by Crispino Cabalan from no other than Potenciano Alinio, because Potenciano Alinio was in Manila, and there was a plan really in Manila during that time to have a revolt. So it has something to do with, number one, it has something to do with agrarian conflict. As long as the lands were owned by the friars, problems will always arose. Like for example, the issue of Jose Rizal in Calamba, Binyan, which was owned by the Dominicans. It really create a conflict with the local populations. And again, the story also in Minglanilla, Talisay also create problems with the Spanish authority. So there are when I had my research, I thought that most of the problems really came out in the issue of the agrarian conflict were materialized solely by the Agustinian. I found out that most of the problems that came out from the agrarian conflict, some were mitigated by the Filipinos themselves. Like for example, in 1889 to 1890, the Inquilinos they were not told by, I think it was Nicasio Chong Veloso. They were not told by Nicasio Chong Veloso, was during that time rented a vast tracts of land in Talisay, and some of the Talisaynon also rented from Nicasio Chong Veloso. So normally ang nasulsa na sa mga Talisaynon although ang Tagiya Agustinian, but nagtuo sila nga ang nag-mandate na sa yuta kay ang mga Agustinian. In 1889 to 1890, they were not told that the Bandalya was being posted arguing a fixed price for all the lands in Talisay. So you try to imagine that Nicasio Chong Veloso had asked the Inquilinos, the workers, the farmers, nga ang ilang abot ibaligya rag usa ka tawo. And at the same time, there was also a fixed price. So in other words, there was a monopoly of prices in Talisay during the time, and Talisay really hated that idea, and they thought that it was because of the Agustinians. So we thought that it was really the Agustinians, but sometimes it was mitigated by the Filipinos themselves, particularly the issue of Nicasio Chong Veloso. Then at the same time, one of the other reason also is the discontent. So the discontent during the Spanish period was broiling because of the incidents particularly in San Nicolas, involving in the destruction of the Ayuntamiento, the Casa Tribunal, and at the same time, the annexation of San Nicolas to the Ciudad. So you try to imagine your town is being annexed. What will you expect? You will expect that political freedom or political autonomy will be vanished. It will be limited, and at the same time, it will be the Spanish residents will become although there were some Indios will be allowed, but it will always be the case that the Spaniards will be the leaders of that particular annex towns or annex arrabales. So for example, this one, these important documents from the archives of Valladolid. By the way, this one was given to me by Sergio Bersales. It was given by Sergio Bersales. These are documents in behalf of the Agustinian, representing that all of their lands in Talisay and Minglanilla were legally owned by the Agustinians. They were not land grab as the pasangil of the Kagubot during the time. So the Agustinian really give documents that these lands were either donated through the Kapilyan or Donatio, or they were brought, or they were given to them by the members of the Spanish family who died. In return, misahan ang ilang kalag hangtod sa hangtod. So the Agustinian really, for example, if you are a priest, and then one of the member of your one of your parishioner will say, Father, I would like to donate 100 hectares in return that you will pray for my father's soul. Kay pare, unsa may bati mo? Dawa to jud nimo. Dali ra man na magampo kaguan kalag. Like, for example, so every day the priest will say mass. So in return, that lands will be given to you as a form of donations. So sad to say that I think this is one of the reasons also that in many time, every time the inquilinos would file a case, their petitions or their case will always denied because wala man sila ebidensya compared to the Augustinians.
Yes, so those are some reasons that the Cebuanos launched the revolution in 1898. That's 2 years. So there were many versions of when the Katipunan started in Cebu. Like Gregorio Abellana would say it's June 19, 1897, and that's the birthday of Jose Rizal. and also in that meeting were Padilla and some other prominent families in San Nicolas. So that's his version, and there are versions that the Katipunan also came here in 1898 already, or Leon Quilat already came here in also late part of 1897. 1897. There are so many versions. So we would like you to know that Leon Quilat, when he came to Cebu, he brought with him anting-anting. And this is a replica of the anting-anting of the Katipuneros. This is worn by our guards in downstairs. So and also our bell person. So this is di makitaan Michael akong camera. So this is the vestidora. This is the replica. It's really traced from the original vestidora. They consider this like as a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
That if they would wear this, they would be invulnerable to bullets. So actually, Leon Quilat showed the power of his amulets to the Cebuanos, he asked Candido Padilla to shoot him while he was wearing his anting-anting, the vestidora, and all the other amulets for the head, even the hostia redentora, the oracion. So the gun was fired, but then he was not harmed. Leon Quilat was not harmed. So because of that, also, so actually, one of our historians, Dr. George Borinaga of the Department of History, was saying that the belief in the anting-anting was one of the reasons that triggered that also led to the victory of the revolution, because the belief in the anting-anting motivated the Cebuanos and other natives, the Indios, to fight because they believed that they would not be killed if they are wearing these anting-anting.
Yeah, it's really true that in the 1898 revolution, you cannot deny the fact that many of the leaders of the many leaders of the Kagubot really give their faith to the anting-anting. For example, I will give an example. Potenciano Alinio, he was known as Poten, which means power. And Martin Cabuenas, who was known as Ating Kublan, which means di madutlan. And they really rely their belief, their faith in this anting-anting, as you know, they are more powerful than the guns of the bullet. They are more powerful than the balls of the cannons or anything that could destroy this anting-anting.
Yes, so we would like you to know that the Vestidora replica is available also if you want to wear the anting-anting, but this is of course a replica only. We had someone who bought this, an American who bought this before the pandemic, and then he was sending a message to the Palmgrass staff asking if should we say prayers before we wear this, or do we wash this? So we explained, we clarified this is a replica.
You will know if these particular things is anting-anting because of the Latin text being used. And majority, all of the anting-anting, as far as I read, all of the anting-anting, they were using Latin language, but the placing or even the words that were being used in Latin, the Latin was very wrong.
So it's bastardized Latin.
Yeah, bastardized Latin.
So actually, so you would see, I would actually say that before the Spaniards came, the Cebuanos had tattoos because during the time that the Spaniards already occupied our islands, tattoos were banned, but then they transferred the tattoos to their anting-anting, like this. They put it on a cloth. So because tattoos were also anting-anting.
Yes.
So aside from that, 𝗂𝗲𝗏 was said to be expert in 𝗟𝗛𝗏. So they were even the 𝗟𝗛𝗏 practitioners would say that they would trace the 𝗟𝗛𝗏 practice before the Spaniards came, like Lapula in the Battle of Mactan. And 𝗟𝗛𝗏 sticks are also available at Palmgrass, Sinugatan, gifts from Cebu. So now, because kanang nahuman naman ni atong discussion, so we will have our trivia quiz. So we have one question for our audience on site. At a microphone for the one who would like to answer. If you want to answer, you just raise your hand. Wala tayo camera for them. Audio ra. So we have our question. So maybe we can already transfer one of our cameras for our awarding of certificates of participation. So before that, we would like to give you our trivia questions. One question is for the on-site audience, and one question is for everyone, whether online or on-site, but you would answer through the comment section. So these are very easy questions. If you listen to our discussion, you would be able to answer this. So the first question, with the prize of a free foot massage, so that you will be able to walk with the Katipunan. The first question has the prize of a free from our Alima native massage, where you will experience a therapeutic healing massage with orasyon. So you will experience orasyon because we believe that with prayers we get healed. That is the practice of our ancestors. There is always prayer with hilot. So because without prayers, everything is useless. So now, the first question is this. So, of course, you will have sea salt and ginger in your foot soak when you will have hilot sa tiil. So, this is a very easy question. For those on site, you raise your hand if you want to answer. So, name one occupation of Andres Bonifacio. Sayod kaayo, oy. Sige, kisa ganahan mo answer. Sige, si 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗂𝗏𝗏. Anthony, who has a descendant who is a Katipunero in Talisay, a revolutionary in Talisay.
A while ago, I heard that joke about being a graphic designer. So one of his occupation was designing posters.
Congratulations. Congratulations to Anthony Cabenas for winning the Hilot sa Tiil. So your ancestor, who is a revolutionary in Talisay in 1898, is very happy that you know about hero Andres Bonifacio, that one of his jobs was to design posters, to make posters, making canes, worked in a warehouse, and also a broker, and also so many jobs. So the second question is, you will answer this online. So Anthony can no longer answer because he already won the Hilot sa Tiil. So we have answer from Phoebe saying, "Woo, 𝗟𝗛𝗏 represents." So maybe Phoebe also practices 𝗟𝗛𝗏. So now we have this question. The cane maker, Eileen, you are correct. But then the first question was for the one on site. So this second question is for everyone, but you answer through the comment section of this Facebook live event. So do you have already internet to those on site? Namo na mo internet ya, maka-answer mo sa question? Wala. So the second question is an Instagrammable and therapeutic kawa bath, a hulum kawa. This is the prize. You can have your photo on a soak, on a tinuwa, nga hulum kawa, or a flower bath at our Hardin Dagami. So you can also have the tinola kawa bath has sea salt, ginger, and lemongrass, tanglad. Matinuwa gyud ka. Ambot lag naabay mo higop di mo. Inig matinuwa na ka. So usaka ko and serve nga tinuwa ka after. So this is the question, and then you please answer through the comment section. Name one Katipunero who came to Cebu to help organize the local Katipunan. Or maybe a Cebuano. Pwede rasad nga, a Cebuano went to Manila to ask for Katipunan to be organized in Cebu. Bisag asa lang ana. Pwede ra katong the prime movers of the revolution. The Katipuneros who were important in organizing the local Katipunan. So, kinsa may mo answer ani? Those who want to have hulum kawa. Pero correct gihapon ni, 𝗟𝗏𝗂 Leon Kilat. It's okay, go congratulations. So Eileen, kinsa man ni si 𝗟𝗏𝗂? Do you know 𝗟𝗏𝗂? And Leon Kilat is correct, but Rix was the first to write his answer. So there are others, diba, that also were mentioned. Like you already know about that. So now, congratulations to 𝗟𝗏𝗂 for your answer, Leon Kilat. So now, we would now give our congratulations to all our trivia quiz winners. So now we would like to give to award the certificates of participation to our participants of our Cebu-wide extemporaneous speech contest with 17 students as contestants from the 5 divisions in Cebu. And how many schools? More than, is it 10? 10 schools in Cebu? How many schools? So we would now like, so those who are on site those on site would get their certificate. So those on site would get their certificates. So we also request our resource person, Marbs, to assist us in awarding the certificates of participation from PAMGRAS and also from DepEd Region 7. So we would like to award their certificate of participation to our contestant, 𝗟𝗏𝗂 𝗟 for participating in the Cebu Island-wide extemporaneous speech contest with the theme Celebrating Cebu Hero General Arcadio Maxilom, the Last Man Standing. Organized by PAMGRAS, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, Trust Abril Foundation, and DepEd Region 7, given this 30th day of November 2023 at PAMGRAS, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, Cebu City. So we have 𝗟𝗏, ragkulang atong text. So our next award is for grade 12 from Toledo City Division. Our second contestant is 𝗪𝗲𝗻 𝗪𝗏𝗪. So this is your certificate, 𝗪𝗲. So next, we would like to award the certificate of participation to Toledo City Division, from Toledo City Science High School, grade 11, 𝗠𝗿𝗀𝗃. Yes, so this is your certificate. So next is for from Lapu-Lapu City Division, Science and Technology Education Center, grade 11, Ana Therese Amores. So this is the certificate for Ana. So next is we have from Mandawi City Division, Living Pupil Homeschool, grade 11, Justine Victor Xiao. So congratulations to Justine for being a contestant of the Cebu Island-wide Extemporaneous Speech Contest. Next, we have from the Lapu-Lapu City Division, Science and Technology Education Center, grade 12, Nini Marion Joyce Labrador. So next we have from the Toledo City Division, from Toledo City Science High School, grade 12, Dane Diozen Juarez. So this is the certificate of Dane. Next, we have from the Toledo City Division, from Bato National High School, we have 𝗓𝗲𝗃 Caraca. So now we have, thank you for being with us on site from Talisay City Division, from St. Scholastica's Academy, Tabunok. We have grade 12, Anthony Bruce Cabenas, also a descendant of a Katipunero. Edit kinata? Edit pa rin certificate. So, there yung picture. Ang teacher of parents, wapil, unya na lang. So, natay drum roll niya. So, winner, thank you. Congratulations to Anthony. So we have from the Cebu City Division, we have from Apas National High School, grade 12, Jamaica Cantila. So thank you for joining us, and also the teacher is joining us. Mag-picture ang teacher or wapil picture? Thank you, and congratulations to Jamaica. Also, we have from the Cebu City Division, from Southwestern University, FINMA, grade 12, Bern Ellison Ruth Belacho. So this is your certificate. And also from the Toledo City Division, from Luray 2 National High School, grade 12, Neil Aligada. Congratulations to Neil for being a contestant of the Cebu Island-wide Extemporaneous Speech Contest to honor General Arcadio Maxilom. From the Toledo City Division, Pau Excelencia Global Academy, grade 12, Savannah Loreto. So Savannah was our only online contestant in this contest. And we have also from the Mandawi City Division, Mandawi City Comprehensive National High School, grade 12, 𝗟𝗲𝗄 Diaz Reyes. So, ano siya? So we have from the Toledo City Division, Luray 2 National High School, Zarina K. Librenca. Also from the Mandawi City Division, St. Louis College, Cebu, grade 12, Seth Anthony Siniza. And also, the last but not the least, from Mandawi City Division, St. Louis College, Cebu, grade 12, Ricardo Ray Ferrer. Congratulations to all contestants. So our judges were really so happy and delighted of your speeches. They said that if they were at your age, they wouldn't be able to talk like you, like how you did, how you performed in the speech contest, where you just prepared for 6 minutes and delivered your speeches for 2 minutes to honor Cebu hero, our modern Cebu heroes, our hero General Arcadio Maxilom, and the modern day heroes. And you expressed also your love for our country and our province, our island, Cebu. So now we have as our top 6. We would announce the top 6, and this is not in any this is in any particular order. This is not, we would announce it not according to the rank. So these are the top 6, but we have 8 winners for the top 6 because there are 3 who were tied at top 5. So we would show you the videos of the top 6, and then for the top, we would announce, we would give our plaques of appreciation are for, I mean the plaques, the plaques are for the first, second, and third, unang ganti, kaduhang ganti, ug ikatulog ganti. So natay drum roll, wala na no? Wala natay drum roll. So we have one of the top 6 contestants is from Toledo City Division, Toledo City Science High School. And this is the video, grade 11, Karen Tiristan.
Have you ever strolled along General Maxilom Avenue? Well, I am certain that a lot of you may have. But are you certain that you know the sacrifices that he had to contribute in honor of that street? Good day. I am committed to my belief that General Maxilom, who I personally see as Cebu's diamond, as it is the hardest mineral with the strong resistance of scratching, just like our general who had this strong legacy of resistance against from the Spanish to American forces. Within the fabric of time, the sacrifices of General Maxilom held like a thread which stitched us into molding us in our identity, because his sacrifices helped along with the triumphs of freedom into molding us Cebuanos. And with that, moving forward, every time that you will walk along the streets of General Maxilom Avenue, you will hold this spirit in you, the inspiration, the motivation in you to be as resistant as General Maxilom, because that is what he left us. He did not just leave independence in this land, but he also left something for us for the future generation. Thank you.
So congratulations to Karen Tiristan, grade 11 of Toledo City Science High School, for being one of the top 6 contestants. And next, another contestant who is in the top 6 is from Lapu-Lapu City Division, Science and Technology Education Center. Grade
Hilo! Quiet. Not another word from your mouth. Or so our colonizers have said. After being colonized in Cebu in 1565, why is it now in this day and age that we still feel the need to keep quiet, even when the situation doesn't need it? One thing that I've noticed is that our national hero, or rather, our first Cebuano governor of Cebu, manages to show something that we can see in our modern day lives. Modern day workers have the problems that healthcare workers face each and every day, fighting, seeing people dying, people hurt. Is that not relevant to what Maxilom faced when he was fighting in the Battle of Tuburan in 1889? What about the journalists? Writing and writing every day with the fear of one day disappearing, with the fear of getting shot. Is that not relevant to what Maxilom has faced, hiding against the Americans, hiding against the colonizers, trying to fight him? And what about the OFW workers that have to go far away, never seeing their families in order to protect them, in order to provide for them? Is that not relevant to Maxilom's faces and challenges in his time? One thing I've noticed, that the national heroes in the past, they have their own names. They have street names, they have museums named after them. But the modern heroes in this day and age is a group of individuals that work together, a group that creates a mosaic of tiny little hands that combine together into one perfect mural of our flag. That's all.
Congratulations to the Lapu-Lapu City Division Science and Technology Education Center, Grade 11, 𝗂𝗏𝗄𝗏 for being one of the top 6 contestants in this hybrid extemporaneous speech contest in honor of General Arcadio Maxilom. Our next top 6 awardee is also from Lapu-Lapu City Division, from Science and Technology Education Center, Grade 12, Nini Marion Joyce.
𝗧𝗵𝗲 monumento 𝗂𝗏𝗄𝗏 perennius. I have reared a monument more enduring than bronze. I find that this phrase embodies General Arcadio Maxilom and his legacy. When faced with the question of why I feel immense pride for our Cebuano hero, I would like to speak of his bravery, of his strength, of his resilience, of his persistence, that despite his comrades, fellow Cebuano patriots succumbing or falling under the American rule, he stood strong, he stood resilient. He stood for what he believed in his fight for independence. I find immense pride in this, as I believe that this characteristic is present, has lived on, and is continued to be evident even in today's society. In today's heroes, in the journalists who continue to publish the truth despite chaos and conflict, in the people who serve and prioritize the well-being of others before themselves, I find that General Arcadio Maxilom is a Cebuano hero that must be given much pride for. As we build the future, the foundation of a future that will outlive us, we must look back at the hero who stood unchanging, who stood headstrong in his fight for what he believed in his fight for what was right, in his fight for Cebuano independence. I implore you all to speak, to act, and to remain impenetrable as he did in his fight for what was right. And may the actions of yesterday be not forgotten today. Thank you.
Congratulations to Grade 12, Nini Marion Labrador of Science and Technology Education Center. Next, our another awardee for the top 6 is from Toledo City Division, from Toledo City Science High School, Grade 12, Dane Josen Juarez.
They say wars are fought with weapons, but are won by men. I think this holds especially true for the revolution here in Cebu. Because even though our people were greatly outmanned and overpowered, the enemy, they had more weapons, they had more trained soldiers. And yet here we are, standing here today, free Filipinos. And I think there are 2 important elements that won this. First is strategy, and the second, resilience. The Filipinos, us, our heroes, they knew what they were fighting for. And so, because of that, they never gave up. They had the heart of Filipinos, and they knew that their people had that heart too. And so, even when they were faced with setback after setback, their allies being captured, and so they were forced to move the battle forward. Their leader, Leon Quilat, died, and yet Arcadio Maxilom still took the lead and never got discouraged or gave up. Resilience. And how they did this was through strategy. They didn't recklessly charge forwards against the Spaniards. They used their minds. And they were able to do this because they cared enough about what they were doing, because they were fighting for their people. They had the heart, and that is the single most important element that won them this revolution. And that is the single most important element that we should still have today so that we can win in all our future battles. The heart. We need to know what we're fighting for our people, for our identity, so that we can make a country of the people, by the people, and for the people. Thank you.
Congratulations to Dane Josen Juarez of the Toledo City Science High School. Our next awardee for the top 6 is from Cebu City Division, Apas National High School, grade 12, Jamaica Cantila.
Ladies and gentlemen, I stand here before you today to tell you about the obstacles that the youth has faced on engaging our Cebu's histories and heroes. One of the obstacles that the youth face is the lack of interest. And to overcome this, why not let's use the technology base? Because the generation these days are very profound of technology. So let's reintroduce the Cebu history. Let's reintroduce the Cebu heroes using our technology base. Because let's not forget about our Cebu heroes' histories and their sacrifices. Their sacrifices that must and will and should be echoed through the pages of history. May their legacy continue to inspire us to stand up for our justice, liberty, and principles that they held so dear. Because it is a must. It is a must to continue their legacy, to fight for the freedom that they introduced to us. That would be all, and I thank you.
Congratulations to Jamaica Cantila, who is here with us on site today from Apas National High School. Congratulations to the coach. And also, our next awardee in the top 6 is from the Mandaue City Division, from Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School, grade 12, 𝗔𝗴
Ladies and gentlemen, I am very glad that we get to meet here. I'm sorry I have a cough, but just allow me to continue. Now, there is this one thing, the best thing that a person can give heroically to his community, and it is love. Why love? It is because love is the most powerful thing in this world. And love is like a seed. It will eventually grow, it will bear fruit, and then boom, it will contribute to all the people. Maxilom didn't fight against the Spaniard just because he thought that he is powerful or because he is strong enough. He fought against the Spaniards because there is this love within him. And that love bore 3 things. First, hope to the people. The people were able to say that, oh, Maxilom is going to fight for us. And maybe we can get the freedom that we wanted. The next is courage. Despite of Maxilom knowing that 𝗖𝗲𝗄𝗯𝗂 was being defeated by the same enemy, Maxilom didn't. Maxilom felt afraid, but he didn't stop. He kept going. He kept pushing, even when he is afraid, and all because of love. And boom, there was this freedom. The last thing was resilience. Yes, they got the freedom, but there was this scar. And 2 months after that freedom, the Spaniards colonized them again. And what Maxilom did? They stood again. They fought again. Ladies and gentlemen, if Maxilom was the last man standing because he was the last man who fought against the Spaniards, then let us be the current people standing. Let us fight. Let us stand for hope. Let us stand with courage, and let us stand for love. Ladies and gentlemen, when we love, we strive to be better. And when we strive to be better, everything around us will become better. And that would be all. Thank you.
Congratulations to 𝗔𝗴 𝗞𝗴 of the Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School for being part of the top 6 of the Cebu Island-wide Extemporaneous Speech Contest to honor our hero, General Arcadio Maxilom. And our next awardee for the top 6 is from the Toledo City Division, Luraito National High School.
To our esteemed panel of judges, coaches, my fellow contestants, friends, our live viewers through Facebook, ladies and gentlemen of all ages, a pleasant afternoon. Robert Heinlein once said, "A generation which ignores history has no past, nor future." It is important for our generation, the youth's generation, to know about the local heroes of Cebu. The freedom that we are now enjoying, the privileges that we now own, are all thanks to these heroes. It was through them
that we can do whatever we want. We can do the things we do for fun. And as a way to say thank you to them, a gesture of gratitude, we should commemorate them. We should honor them. We should celebrate them. Do you think would it be pleasant if you were to help someone and they are ungrateful for it? They forget about it. Would that be just? So today's youth should know about local heroes of Cebu. Thank you.
Congratulations to 𝗧𝗵𝗂 of the Luray 2 National High School for being one of the top 6 contestants in the Cebu Island-wide Extemporaneous Speech Contest to honor our hero, General Arcadio Maxilom. And now the last in the top 6 contestants is from Mandaue City Division, St. Louis College.
Cebuanos, lend me your ears, for today is a topic deeper than what could ever be said. Who is to say that in this very moment they would die? Who can say that in this very moment, for a cause unknown, they would be willing to risk their life? Arcadio Maxilom once did. When Leon Quilat called his forces, what did Maxilom do? He had a well-off life. He was a teacher, the son of the gobernador managing Tuburan. But there was more. There was more. His people were imprisoned. His people were not free. And so he took that stand. I am willing to die for this country, to die 1,000 times more. Sadly, I have only but one life to give. I am alone. Maxilom was the last man standing. Only one, but not anymore. Look around you. Are you alone? Cebuanos, are you alone? No, you're not. Not anymore. There is no last man standing. We are united. We are one. We must fix this country, for it is not one life that fixes it, but the lives of many that change it. I wish to see this country succeed. I wish to see this country grow. I wish to see this country prosper, but I fear that I would die before I see this country prosper. Cebuanos, I urge you, right now, I urge you with what is left of me. Let your heart beat stronger than the sound of the drum. Let Cebu be free once more. For it is not the enemy outside, but the enemy within.
Congratulations to Seth Anthony Siniza of the Mandaue City Division, St. Louis College for being one of the top 6. Now we would award, but then all of the contestants are winners. We are so inspired by your words of love for our hero, General Arcadio Maxilom, and also for our country. So we would like to announce now the winners, the consolation prize winners. So we would just enumerate them, and ang on-site lang way kuan. So consolation those who won, there are 4 who won the consolation prize. We have from Toledo City Division, Toledo City Science High School, Carl Tiristan. We also have from Lapu-Lapu City Division, Science and Technology Education Center, Nini Marion Joyce Labrador as a consolation prize winner. And we have from Cebu City Division, Apas National High School, Grade 12, Jamaica D. Cantila. So, asa yang akna aduri. So, kinahanglan ra ba i-edit ang certificate? Wala ang DepEd nga logo. So, What a picture? Picture. So thank you and congratulations. So we also have as a consolation prize winner from Toledo City Division, Luray 2 National High School, 𝗓𝗓𝗄 𝗠𝗿𝗂𝗓𝗓𝗄. And for the one who won the Netizens' Choice Award, diretso na ako? Or kuan pa ni siya, no? Napa ko'y kanang consolation prize? Consolation prize. Ha? Kulang ang, di ba, isa ha? Kadyot lagi. Another consolation prize winner is Jera May Reyes Diaz of the Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School and also from the Mandaue City Division. And she is also the awardee for the Netizens' Choice Award. So she got, why did she win? How many views and how many likes? So she got the most likes and the most views. Ikaw na lang dawat. Kita. Okay. Ako na lang mapapicture. Picture na lang ni ilang plaque. So, and also for so do you have any guess for those online, if you have any guess who is the third prize winner? So, we have our ikatulong ganti. Ganahan ka, ikaw mo ba saan ni Kuan? What ba siya microphone? Ayos, sa isulti ang name. Makabasa.
Ikatulong ganti, awarded for winning the third place in the Cebu Island-wide hybrid extemporaneous speech contest with the theme Celebrating Cebu Hero General Arcadio Maxilom, the last man standing. Given this 13th day of November 2023 at Pamgras, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, Cebu City.
And the winner for ikatulong ganti is Ana Therese Amores, Grade 11, Science and Technology Education Center, Lapu-Lapu City Division. And our winner for, maragibawaan na ninyo, no? Ang wala ma-mention sa consolation. So, our winner for wala pa ibaw kay surprise pa man. Our winner for, basahan sa anymore, di na lang. Same na, no? Our winner for second place or ikaduhang ganti, the second prize is awarded to Seth Anthony Siniza, Grade 12, St. Louis College, Cebu, Mandaue City Division. And now, kabalo na yun mo. And the first prize, unang ganti, is awarded to Dane 𝗔𝗴 Juarez, Grade 12, Toledo City Science High School, Toledo City Division. Kisa ako rin mapapicture, ani? ang kuan na lang picture ang plaque. So, congratulations to all our winners. So, you please get your certificates at Pamgras the Cebu Heritage Hotel and also your prize of either from our soak and chill or our rooms for heroes at Pamgras the Cebu Heritage Hotel. So, we are now ending, but then if you have questions, and then there is still a question that needs to be answered by the USC history and closing words from our resource person. So last na lang ni. So we ask our audience to answer the question, paano ba, from Las Piñas historian, paano ba ituturo ang pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa? Wala siyang mic?
Mamayang hapon sa tanan, labi na sa Palmgrass, at magandang hapon po sa online. Pati ang good afternoon to everyone. With regards sa question ng isang Las Piñas historian, the only thing we could teach the people how to love our country is, despite the fact that we are facing the challenges in of modern society, hindi tayo we still have the time to remember those who fought and died in the 1896 to 1898 revolution, and the love of country or the motherland or inang bayan indicates that hindi tayo makalimutan ng kasaysayan sa ating bansa. And not only pagmamahal sa Diyos, sa pamilya at sa kalikasan, kundi ang ating bayan or bansa.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations for answer, Raul. So now another historian, history major from USC, mga taga San Carlos ng mga history major, who would try to answer the question, how can we teach love of country?
So I'm Rusty Lian B. Beltran from the University of San Carlos. I am a graduating student of BA History at the University of San Carlos. And regarding sa question ni Mr. Las Piñas historian, paano po natin ituturo ang pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa? First and foremost, ang pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa in purong Tagalog o sa wikang Tagalog o wikang Filipino ay ang pagmamahal sa kapwa. So the basic means of loving the country was loving yourself and loving other people, loving the masses, and also loving fellow Filipinos in order to pursue for a genuine social change and also to change our country for the better. Itinuturo yan sa mga aral ng Katipunan. Sa kartilya ng Katipunan isinulat ni Emilio Jacinto ayun nga, ang tinuguro ang kanang kamay o ang sekretarya ng Katipunan na itinatag ni Andres Bonifacio ay tinuturo ito. Sa Dekalogo ni Andres Bonifacio, ito rin itinuturo sa nagdaang mga Dekalogo na hinango mula sa kanilang mga inspirasyon sa Europeo at iba pang ideolohiya na nakatulong sa Katipunan para mapalaganap ang diwa ng pagkamakabayan, ang pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa, tinubuang bayan na isinulat mismo ni Gat Andres Bonifacio at ngayon araw ng kanyang kaarawan ni ka-160 kaarawan niya, ay binibigyan natin ng halaga at ng pagpapakilala sa kanyang naging ambag. Hindi lang dahil siya ang nagpasimula ng Katipunan, kundi yung sa magiging susunod pa na henerasyon na magbibigay ng diwa at magbibigay ng karangalan para sa bansang kanyang pinaglaban, para sa bansang kanyang tunay na iniibig ng hindi humihingi ng kahit na anumang kapalit, kundi ang bagkos na kabutihan para sa mga kababayan at para sa ating lahat. Yun lamang po at maraming salamat.
Congratulations, Leandro. Very well said, very beautiful words in Tagalog, very articulate in Tagalog. Congratulations. So I remember this, if you have seen that video about our book by 𝗔𝗵𝗴, you would see one of our judges and resource persons, Dr. Joy Hera, who was saying the activities at Palmgrass are very important because he would know about our past, he would know about Cebu and our country, and this book also would let us know about Cebu and what was happening to the people in our past. Because how would you be able to love something or someone if you don't know someone, don't know him or her, or you don't know our country, our society. So can you teach it? We can know. Knowing someone is the way to loving it. Knowing, loving him or her, right? Our motherland, how do we love her? How do we love her because we know her past, we know everything about her. We can't be proud of our country if we don't know anything about it, about our heroes, our ancestors, how they fought, the glorious ancestors, the ancient people in our islands who were kings. I mean, they were what's that, the most powerful in the maritime areas in Asia. If we don't know how rich our country is, our society is, and also if we don't know our people, how can we love our people and how can we fight for them if we are not with the people? So that's what Leandro was saying, that we have to be with the people, and that's what we do here at Palmgrass. Like we invite the students to go to our people, to the marginalized sectors in our society, and to tell their story, and also to tell them. We also tell the children about what Cebu is and what Cebu was and what our heroes did. So loving is still very long. It's a process. Process ba siya? Or it just happens? Leandro, is loving a process or it just happens? You cannot teach love. It's a process. So it's a very complex question, Las Piñas. We're so baffled here, but maybe in our future events, we will be able to answer that. So now, we invite you to our upcoming event this December 2, as we know about the ancient role of women in religious practices, and marvel in the 80-year-old Belen, the heritage Belen of Argao, in our event, Babay sa Kabilin, with USC Professor Dr. Zona Sanyal Amper. On December 16, we will discuss about indigenous fabrics and banig. And also on December 29, we will celebrate the Pasko sa Kagawasan. Now we would like to have the closing words from our resource person, history researcher Marvin Bascon.
Okay, so these are the words that I always taught with my students, that when it comes to love, there are many forms of love. Since I am discussing with them about history, so most of the signs or examples that I can give for my students is the love of the country. So part of that loving love for our country is also emulating, at the same time follow what were the deeds, and follow the aspirations of our national heroes. And for the Talisaynos in general, since we have a monument in Talisay, and it was considered one of the oldest monuments in Talisay, and sad to say that it was never been used as the statue was never been used for any celebration before until the Second World War. So this will be my message, that as much as possible.
May you show the monument in Talisay, the last one?
So as much as possible, the city government of Talisay could revive the celebration of every November 30 as a commemoration to Andres Bonifacio. What we have based on our research is that as early as 1920 until the end of the second, before the coming of the Second World War, we always celebrate Bonifacio Day in Tabunok, in Poblacion, and in particular in Talisay. But I do not know why it was been stopped. Perhaps it is been stopped because of the too much emphasis on Jose Rizal. But I think these examples, that this example is an important rallying point, that we need to go back. We need to go back, not only going back to Andres Bonifacio, but we need also to emulate and love Bonifacio the same with Jose Rizal.
Salamat, and a happy birthday again. We celebrate the 160th birthday today of the very important hero. He triggered the revolution. Without Andres Bonifacio, there would be no revolution in 1896. So in the Philippines, to fight for freedom from Spanish colonial rule. So daghang salamat to everyone who came on site, and also congratulations to all the contestants of the the Cebu-wide hybrid extemporaneous speech contest. Daghang salamat to our partners, DepEd Region 7, Trust the Abril Foundation, the Central Visayas Association of Museums, and the Diyandi Heritage Center. See you again this Saturday. Ug malipayong pagsaulog sa usa ka gatos ug kanuman katuig nga kasumaran sa adlaw natawhan ni Supremo Andres Bonifacio.